What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Mountaineer postgame show. I'm Schuyler Callihan. That is legendary West Virginia running back Eugene Napoleon. West Virginia getting the big 38-14 win over Oklahoma State. Gene actually called this. I actually did not. I went against the Mountaineers this week, but we're gonna move that to the side. We're not gonna bring that or the pick'ems back up right now. We'll talk about that next week. But before we dive into the analysis, let's go and take a look here at the numbers. Garrett Green, 9 of 15 for 159 yards. He got knocked out of the game there for a little bit. Nico Marchiol comes in, goes 1 of 1 with a touchdown pass, also ran for 26 yards on 3 carries. Jaheim White, Gene, this was the thing that we talked about all week, getting him uncorked, and they did exactly that. 158 yards and a touchdown on 19 carries, averaging 8.3 yards per game. And then for Oklahoma State, Alan Bowman goes 10 of 19 with 2 picks. He gets pulled for Garrett Rangel. And Ollie Gordon goes 13 carries, 50 yards. He leaves the game with an injury. Big one in Stillwater, Gene. I mean, I don't know how you want to go about this offensively, defensively. This was a well-rounded game all the way around.
Well, before we get started, I'm at my family's house, and they got something to say.
Let's go Mountaineers!
Since you decided to pick Oklahoma State, my dude,
Yeah.
You should have listened.
Yeah.
But let me say this to you. I'm going to tell you something that's kind of funny about this, right? I feel good. That's a complete win. That's a dominating team win, and that's exactly what we needed as the Mountaineers, to go into Stillwater, as I said, and really thump them, to kind of send a message to what's going on in college football right now. Offensively, they played the way that we knew they could play. Defensively, they played the way that we knew they could play. Even the special teams did okay.
Yeah.
They played well enough. They did okay. So I'm thinking you're 2-0 in conference play. You go into a hostile environment, and as a matter of fact, by halftime, half of them was at home.
Yeah.
You emptied the stadium in Stillwater. That's, you know what I mean? That's the kind of smackdown you're supposed to put on an opposing team. You emptied their fan base. Get on out of here. That's what I'm talking about. Now, next time, be sure to listen.
Now, I did say that I did feel like this was a winnable game. To me, it was a 50-50 toss-up. I felt like this was going to be a back-and-forth kind of old-fashioned Big 12 shootout where the game was in the 40s and there's going to be a lot of yards, a lot of points. And the way the game started, I kind of felt like that was still going to be the case, but Ollie Gordon could never get going still. Alan Bowman never got going, and like I said earlier, he got pulled and got replaced by Garrett Rangel. I just felt like West Virginia had a firm grasp on this one from the very get-go, and a big part of that is the running game. I mean, this is what the identity of this team was a year ago, and even though they've done that a little bit here and there in spurts, they really didn't show that through the first 4 weeks. But, Gene, the one thing I did call, remember, the number one stat I pointed out was time of possession, right? This was something that we had been watching for the last couple of weeks. Last year, West Virginia led the entire Big 12 in time of possession. This year, they're almost second to last or third to last. They had 42 minutes and 40 seconds of possession today, Gene. 42 out of 60 minutes. When you hold on to the ball for that long, good things typically happen.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm impressed with that, but I'm more impressed with scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Making your possessions count. Dude, at the end of the day, I don't care who you're playing against. When you go in the red zone and you're scoring 7 versus 3, you're going to have a good chance to win the football game. To put up the type of points that we did in the way that we did it, you control the line of scrimmage, you punch them in the mouth. The running game was on, as I would say here in New Jersey, it was on fleet. So I'm so excited for those young men. Could you imagine the young guys? This is their first time making this trip to Stillwater to get this type of victory, this type of dominating victory. Not just a victory, a dominating victory.
Yeah.
This is what the season, they have everything sitting in front of them at this particular point. 2-0 in the conference, going into Stillwater, having a dominating victory like this, they should feel really good about the rest of the way the schedule is lining up.
Gene, I don't know how many games you've been a part of where you and Major and company rush for 200 or maybe 300 yards, but these guys today, 389 yards on the ground, 65 carries. It feels like a box score that you would see from back in your day. You don't really see the 60 carries in a single game very often, but that's what it was today. 68 or 65 rushes, 16 pass attempts for the Mountaineers. But Nico Markey, I do want to share a little love for him. He comes into the game. Garrett Green has the big 39-yard run. He's a little banged up. We don't know what his status is going to be. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this could be really bad news. And fortunately, he was able to come back. But Nico was able to finish that drive off, delivered a strike to Traylon Ray on the slant for the touchdown. And then he ends up driving the Mountaineers down the field again for another score, even though it was on the ground. But he showed some things there with his legs too. It was a small sample size, but you got to like what you see in the future quarterback.
Absolutely. No, I'm very excited about that young man. I like the fact that he trucked one of their
Yeah, the linebacker. Yeah.
Linebacker, just put him on his back. You understand? I love so that poor kid in film room. That ain't going to be too good for him. Yeah, but when Nardo look at the film and like, what's going on? That was
Yeah.
a really, really good. It goes to show you what we do have sitting behind Garrett Green, and I'm looking forward to Markle's, his continued development in the next year. This is going to be his team moving forward, and it is a really good sample. It's a good. It makes me feel more comfortable going into next season, knowing that you're passing the torch to somebody who has playing time. He's
Yeah.
had some experiences in some games. He's won some games for West Virginia last year. So this just goes to show you what we have coming back and what we have to look forward to. I'm excited for it all, man. What a victory. I'm excited for it all.
The other part too that I wanted to mention, Oklahoma State, as we said in the preview show, had only allowed one sack all season long. Today they allowed two. Hammond Russell got in on one, and then Fatorma Mulba, both interior guys too. So pretty impressive to get that push up front and push the nose of the pocket to really kind of get after Alan Bowman. I felt like they won those one-on-one matchups there. They won the one-on-ones on the outside at receiver and corner. It was just an
Absolutely.
all-around really good defensive game. And hey, there's been a lot of people talking about Jordan Leslie early in the season. But as I said before, it seems like he starts to figure things out a little bit as you get going. I'm not saying that he's not worthy of not having the criticism, because for sure, I mean, the defense was a nightmare through the first month of the season, but things are going to be okay. And now you get to come back home. So let's go and take a look here at the road ahead. West Virginia comes back home for two massive games that could really kind of dictate the rest of their season, as they have the Iowa State Cyclones next week at 8 p.m. kickoff. That is the Coal Rush. All fans will be wearing black. The Mountaineers will be wearing all black. And then the following week, they have Kansas State. So two top 25 opponents coming into Morgantown over the next 2 weeks. And then they'll go to Arizona, a long trip out to Tucson before having a bye week, a much-needed bye week before the final stretch of the season. So we've kind of already touched on it here a couple of times. But, Gene, how do you like how things are setting up? If the Mountaineers go 2-0 in these next two games, things are looking pretty good.
I love it. Absolutely. But it started with the win today in Stillwater. Getting that win today sets up the table. It sets the table for the rest of this stuff, moving forward. You had to take care of business today at home, in which we did. I expect these next few weeks to be challenging games. I do expect that. But I like our chances at home. I like our chances at home to go 2-0 at home with what's coming into with what's coming into Morgantown. I really believe. Could you imagine being 4-0?
Yeah.
Just think about that, Schuyler, being 4-0 before you take a trip out west, right?
That's massive.
Could you imagine winning that game and then going to the bye week and you're basically 5-0? Go, dude, I think West Virginia as a state would blow its own lid.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean?
Well, we try not to bring it up here much, but like I've said a few times too, like I think the overall feeling about this team, not only regionally or locally, but nationally too, would be much different if you hold on in the backyard brawl and now you only have one loss at this point of the season, 2-0 in league play. You're getting talked about nationally. You're in the top 25. We won't dwell on that too much because now you're into the games that truly matter. You're 2-0. And yeah, I mean, look, we've talked about how the last four games this season, Cincinnati, Baylor, UCF, Texas Tech, all four of those games, they should either be favored in or have a chance to win. So you've got to get through this stretch. This is that dawning 5-game stretch we've talked about so many times. And right now, they're handling their business. And again, it is very, very huge to see Jaheim White kind of burst through and be the player that he was a year ago.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you this. Anything is possible now because what we did today, right? If
Absolutely.
this
Yeah.
anything is possible, but to get your running game on track, to get your defense on track, to get your secondary in tune with what's going on, going into next week and the week thereafter, and you're playing at this level, listen, I don't think if we play at this level for the rest of the freaking season, it's going to be really hard to beat West Virginia if they play at this level. Because
Yeah.
if you can run the football, you already know. You run the football, you're controlling the clock. If you're controlling the clock, you're controlling the game. If you're controlling the game, anything is possible, Scholar. We know this.
Yeah.
We know this. If you have the ball for 40 some odd minutes in a Pop Warner game, you're winning the game.
Exactly. That's the key.
That's the key. Time of possession is the key. So I'm so super excited for where we are, and I'm looking forward to these next few weeks.
Yeah, next week's going to be a little rowdy, I have a feeling. They couldn't have picked a better time to do the coal rush. You coming off a massive dominating win over Oklahoma State on the road. You come back home. Iowa State's coming in highly ranked. It's going to be an 8 p.m. kickoff, so the fans are going to have their chance to get lathered up in the blue lot all day long before making the trip over to Milan Puskar Stadium. That place is going to be rocking in a massive Big 12 showdown next week between West Virginia and Iowa State. Make sure you hit that subscribe button here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI. Give us a follow on X at SI_WVU. Chris and I will be back tomorrow for the morning after here on Between the Ears, and then we'll dive into some more stuff next week. Gene will return next Thursday for the preview on the Walkthrough Game Day show between West Virginia and Iowa State. For Eugene, Napoleon, I'm Schuyler Callihan. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Take care.